This might be one of the only horror games where I find a strange comfort within it. In another game, for example, the thought of why you're going through this isolated and demented castle is ever present in the back of my mind. Evil creatures and darkness aside, the ulterior motive behind it all is what makes me feel a grand sense of discomfort. In Psychopomp, on the other hand, no matter how twisted, ugly, or horrifying something might look, I can't help but feel that I won't regret what awaits at the end of this descent, because without curiosity, you truly stay in darkness. The developer describes this game as a short, psychological horror dungeon crawler, and without sounding pretentious, I think calling it an experience fits it better than titling it a video game. I mean, yeah, it plays out like a game normally would. Walk around, explore dungeons, avoid dropping like a sack of potatoes to fight off bad guys. However, its execution feels like it's emphasizing a drug trip rather than exciting game mechanics. I am not going to spoil it, well maybe, but I will try my best to convince you that this short game is worth your time. To clarify, I am playing the gold version, which is supposed to be the full release of all the maps and secrets, cutscenes, and whatnot, including mod support. Now, who, what, where, and why? This entire game revolves around the premise of our heroine who is so paranoid of everyone keeping secrets from her that she constructs a helmet to read people's minds. She refers to it as Psychopomp. When translated to Greek, the word literally means guider of souls, which is very fitting because the helmet doesn't exactly read minds, sadly, but instead reveals a whole world of dark corridors and remarkable creatures. This world is hidden beneath any typical building, and depending on what the building is, decides what kind of world will be hidden beneath it. And it is up to you to uncover everything that's been hidden from you in plain sight. With that said, this game is incredibly cryptic and leaves a lot of its interpretation onto the player to devise themselves. So for now, all I can say is deep down, we all have a little bit of a Pompey within us. After putting on the helmet, our descent begins. In an alleyway. The controls are very basic. You move with tank controls and can strafe, but you're stuck on a walking grid. That significantly simplifies walking in this game and ensures that the player will not get lost. Your other methods of worldly interaction include a touch, view, and speak button, and yes, this apartment creature can speak. Speaking of speaking, I'd say this is the most notable of the three options because this is where you get most of your information about this wacky world. Sadly, you can't chat with everyone, and for them, they have their own button. Everyone you come across can meet their demise at the end of your hammer. There are very few characters you're unable to obliterate, but funny enough, killing everyone you come across has zero impact on the game and story whatsoever. Which I actually like. This guy hides cameras inside of children's teeth. This weird screeching pod looks like a creature straight out of Cruelty Squad. This crying young girl is having an existential crisis and is begging for her suffering to end. Very basic game. I honestly don't even have to tell you that there's an inventory system, because it is essentially just a key and health holder. And with that, you're able to sprint through the cleanest Chicago alley, obliterate the young girl, pet the dog, and adventure on into the unknown. Order doesn't matter whatsoever. You're free to pick any area as you please. The phone is just a fun little Easter egg, and your home isn't important until the very end. That is if you found every green key hidden in each stage, but we'll get onto that much later. Stages have two parts to them. First, you go to the public government building to your liking, then after breaking in with your trusty hammer, you have to locate the hidden elevator. That's where the real fun starts. There isn't a lot to say in the beginning areas. You can stay there for as long as you like and listen to Pompey's deranged comments, but we all know why you went here in the first place. Every level is unique in its design and task. The only thing they all have in common is the dark design and the task of collecting an egg. Jokes aside, even though most areas are rather dark, it's not on the same level as Machine for Pigs, where you can't see a goddamn thing for no reason. So you won't be battling with poor lighting, and oh boy, look at that pretty sunset. For the most part, the stage either appears as a decayed industrial zone with every surface damn near being rustic metal and shabby concrete, like a stage straight out of Quake, or ancient structures with untouched chiseled stone, like a castle in Daggerfall. Oh yeah, most importantly, a constant mass of flesh and red viscous present in at least 3 rooms in every single level. With all that said, this game might sound like a headache to look at, but this is where the importance of art direction comes in. Psychopomp uses the simplicity of old PS2-like graphics to give it that beautiful shabby texturing, but also its lighting as well. Like most games, any color or light fixture that sticks out is bound to catch your attention and let you know that this place has something of value worth staring at. And if it's dark as shit, then the game is most likely encouraging you to go take that leap of faith and take the chances of seeing a beautiful butterfly or a crackhead. Every dungeon also corresponds with the building that rests above it, so every level has its own theming. No two levels will be the same. Are the environments cold and creepy? Absolutely, straight out of a loony's mind. However, I would say that it's almost tranquil at times. Even in a dark tunnel, a bright light can be found in its end. Also, the sheer knowledge of pushing forward towards a greater goal makes you suck up your gut and dive into the abandoned wells, because once the unknown becomes known, then there's nothing to fear. Also, this game is just gorgeously bizarre. In an era where so many games are bright and colorful, it's nice to see sceneries where darkness is used intentionally to paint a pretty picture. There are also the funny fellows you get to talk to, and while I'll admit, some of these guys look like if a kid's drawing was interpreted by early AI, there are some rather innocent looking creatures in here that are simply trying to fulfill their quotas or are just hanging out. Like this underground lizard species. Even if they look hostile, you won't have to worry about it because if they wanted to hurt you, they charge straight at you like a quarterback. Just like how I mentioned with the levels, the design of the NPCs also blend in perfectly with the scenery. They do fit in those levels specifically, and you could tell just by looking at them from a distance. Looking at this weird crackling sentient flesh vase seems a little familiar. The art style really achieves what it sets out to do, to be as unsettling as possible, like if it's tapping some sort of 5-year-old curiosity in the back of your mind where you tell yourself you shouldn't be looking at this or doing this, but you can't help but keep staring at it, even though something's off. Wait a minute, what engine does this run on? Can't be. I refuse to believe. No fucking way. That's right folks, this game runs on the same engine that Cruelty Squad runs on. No wonder why it looks so familiar. Now, is there any other game that I could think of that runs on the Godot engine? No. With how demonic all this sounds, it surprisingly does not use a lot of religious imagery. At least not any of the Abrahamic ones. It's more a tone with ancient Greek mythology. Don't worry, I'm not going to chew your ear out about Greek lore. If I could sum up this game's art style in one sentence, it'll be if a mental asylum held an art exhibition. The core gameplay for the most part are all linear, and their setup gets predictable quickly. Enter a suspiciously normal building, go down the elevator, talk to something, fetch an item and insert said item. Beat the shit out of this weird anime thing. It's a walking sim/puzzle game. However, the real game comes from taking a deep breath and letting it all sink in. Like, why is there a church in a sewer? Why is there 2 Earths? How did they even hide this factory down here? There is zero rush with this game. It completely moves at your pace because at the end of the day, this is your adventure as much as it is Pompey's. Last and definitely least, your health. In order to die, I feel like it has to be done intentionally. Environmental hazards are easy to avoid and enemies just charge straight at you. Most of them don't even have attack animations and drain your health as they stand in front of your face, but they are no match for 3 swings of your mighty hammer. The point is, the true adventure is always all around you, so everything will unveil at your pace. You're going to be going through a DNA library, live apartments, and my favorite hospital wing of ancient thoughts. Just to name a few. There will be backtracking, but I promise, you getting lost is pretty rare thanks to the grid. The game also doesn't exactly tell you what you have to do to progress. Funny enough, the helmet called Psychopomp doesn't exactly guide you in game. Instead, the NPCs scattered throughout the world sort of hint towards something important within the area. And being the funny deranged woman you are, it is your sworn duty to unveil that of which has been hidden from you. Outside of the typical stages you go through, there are also the transient, ephemeral, and aberrant locations. Exclusive to Psychopomp Gold, the whole purpose of these areas is to give more context to Pompey's adventure. To avoid confusion, most people usually refer to all these areas as being the transient locations, but I just call them T for short. There's no task and no egg to collect. These are completely optional, but I highly recommend going through each of them. Although very short, these small stages either give you a lot of information as to who Pompey is, or just as bizarre as a scene from Eraserhead. Trust me, the enemies are mainly just there to catch you off your guard. So don't expect this game to have crazy innovative combat, since this isn't what the game is aiming for. As for sound design, very fitting to say the least. Just like the visuals, it's industrial, visceral, and insane. Damn near every noise generated is something you definitely do not want to hear when you're exploring an abandoned building by yourself. There's also zero voice acting. Every creature either makes a hissing sound or speaks like a character from Banjo-Kazooie. The biggest difference being is that you can't kill that annoying ass bird. Who needs voice acting when you can simply just repeat a 2-second snippet of a random sound? Everything echoes, even the death screeches. Loneliness is always looming, and not just with the proximity of darkness, but the fact that you'll always be hearing the familiar noise of your footsteps most of the time. And everything always sounds like a distant echo that pierces straight into your ear. The most mundane sound you'll hear will be your hammer slamming a wall, but trust me, some sounds will stick out like a sore thumb and give you the heebie-jeebies. The mixing is alright. Rarely did I have trouble hearing certain things, but there are some loud noises every now and then. That's okay, let me just change the settings real quick. Oh. There are no settings. Alright. Definitely unexpected. I guess whenever there's something blasting straight in your ear, you could just lower the volume on your computer. However, I will say it's a little disappointing not being able to change the music and game volume separately. Speaking of music, we can move on to the soundtrack. There are a lot of memorable tracks. Each level has its own unique song, and to be expected, some sound like you're free falling into the abyss. Other tracks are groovy, but still sound out of this world. No lyrics, zero, just the sound of metal getting clanked around and dark ambience, and oh boy do I love ambience. I wouldn't say it just matches the environment, but I say it matches Pompey's attitude as well. It's crazy, it's abrasive, it's triumphant, and it's very unnerving. If there's one word I can use to describe this game's soundtrack, it will be purgatory. Because no matter what kind of melody it has, it never reaches any form of crescendo. Enough about the sound then. I think that department checks out just fine. So what about the story? It's hard for me to describe the events that transpire without spoiling the whole thing because it is a very short game after all. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot to interpret. However, face value, I will take away a lot of the mystery to this grand adventure. So please skip to this timestamp right here. Click on it. Make sure you click it if you don't want any spoilers. And make sure you're clicking it though, because you really don't want to be spoiled.
Just a little reminder that this game is free, by the way. You could go play the game right now. I'm recommending that you go play this game right now.
It's free. Link in the description right here. Alright, so Pompey is actually a human incarnation of an interstellar species that are capable of destroying anything it comes in contact with. Or at least makes them disappear. Her descent into these ancient catacombs are more of a personal journey which leads to her reincarnation as a celestial comet we have learned about throughout the entire game. What comet? Oh yes, that's right. Throughout the game we can find 3 notes that point to this. One of these notes reveals that there exist comet-like projectiles soaring through space and deleting everything that it comes in contact with. The Calvin 4. A second note is the discovery of ancient textiles that depict 2 godlike figures named... I'm gonna butcher these. Kavanash Vishneri, Queen of Venus, and Krusner Colvin, King of Mercury. I didn't do too bad. The Queen of Venus being Pompey, as confirmed by the ending. Maybe. And the last note, which isn't about a bunch of celestial god-like comets floating around destroying everything, but instead is a conversation between 2 scientists who suggest that the second Earth in the sky is due to the loss of mass within their own Earth. With this groundbreaking discovery, she becomes even more of an unreliable narrator. This makes her entire journey more questionable, implying that her reasoning for destroying the dungeons isn't directly tied with revealing the truth. For example, in one of the stages, she meets 3 figures, each representing human flaws. Alexander the Great in his thirst for blood, Plato in his desire to always become the smartest person in the room, or maybe he's just a lust for kids. He's an ancient Greek, who knows honestly. And Cleopatra's asphyxiation to always be the center of attention. What they all have in common is the fact that their traits have persisted throughout all of history. By limiting each of them, then those ideas should die out too, giving humanity the chance to be free from these sins. What's most important to know is that she only destroys, but doesn't replace. To top it off, she embodies most of these sins as well. She can literally hammer a crying woman, her lust to uncover everything, and her strong desire to collect all these weird eggs to be reborn into a goddess. That's just one of the examples. Here are 2 more. At the school level, she comes across a factory dedicated to spying on children by putting some sensor in their teeth. Why, you may ask? So that they can use that information to generate lessons for the kids above. The main caveat being that the kids with the modified teeth are then turned into egg slicers. Don't know how symbolic that is, but you abide by the wishes of the foreman and crush his head. Yes, he wanted that, but every single worker in that factory refused to let it happen. Instead of giving them a different method to generate life lessons for the kids above, she destroys everything, leaving them with nothing. Lastly, the DNA stage. She comes across a massive facility that makes instructions for everything. These weird one-eyed chicken nuggets determine how your life will play out, without your consent of course. That sounds bad, right? So what does Pompey do? Destroy it all. Congratulations, your fate is no longer predetermined. In the process, however, every strand of DNA has also been destroyed as well. Don't even gotta explain why that sounds horrifying. The final level of Symbols is a massive complex of ancient structures with twisted staircases and Atlantic-like visuals. To get the egg in this level, it's behind 3 locked gates, with each key being in the hands of 3 guardians of the world. Each of them represents the key aspects of the world: people, geometry, and flesh. They give themselves so easily to Pompey. The reasoning behind this, at least I think, is that since she was able to make it this far, they have the confidence that she is destined to become some new ruler over the planet, with each death giving her full understanding of what they represent. With all the keys in her hand, she opens up the door, and the final egg is in her grasp. With each egg collected, I can finally say what I believe they are supposed to represent. They are either the replacement idea for the stages she destroys, or the very embodiment of the stage's ideas. By dropping them into the unknown abyss like a 2016 iPhone drop test, she makes sure that whatever is supposed to hatch for them don't come back. Either that or she's freeing them. That's up for you to decide after all. My final theory is that these eggs are supposed to be a part of the Calum 4. Literal babies of those weird floating comet things in the sky. Now this theory might sound a tad whacked out, but it makes a lot more sense when you get to the final stage of the game, and I mean the true final stage. With that said and done, the end is available. The core of the world. She passes by the shredded remains of a cocoon, that cocoon being left behind by the metamorphosis of a queen. Who knows at this point, honestly. What we do know is that at the center of the planet she finds the flesh of the world. With it, she molds her own precious clay baby. Isn't that cute? After stating that this planet is far too gone to be saved, she promises that something new awaits them. Everything is in her domain now, and with that she expands her wings and fly off into space. Wait a minute, did I see King of Mercury earlier? Oh, that's right, there's a prologue. After blasting off into space and seeing some credits roll, we are put into the shoes of a man with no face. Even less is known about him aside from the fact that the dog from the tutorial tells him that a great evil approaches from that suspicious Earth. Funny enough, his weapon is a nail and his hood is sleek and refined, almost as if he is supposed to be a complete counterpart to Venus. Anyways, the stage is very short. We abide the dog's wishes to gather 3 people in this lovely desert stage. The sun and the music is warm and inviting, but sadly this adventure is cut short by a...
We've lost the lead. The enemy's jamming our radar. Tactical nuke incoming!
And the same sequel joke done by Hotline Miami 2. Yeah, I'm still not over that. And with that, the game is over, right? Right? No! One last thing. The green keys! Yes, the keys! Yes, those green keys, hidden behind the walls, have a purpose. Welcome you hoe-ass bitches to MTV Cribs. Here we have Pompey's luscious crack den. 2D walking Pompey aside, the whole purpose of the house is to give you a cutscene or rather dialogue of how Mercury and Venus met. Ain't that cute? Finally, I have unlocked third person. We can now play the game and admire the scenery with Pompey's 3D model's reaction. Also, this game has mod support. Ain't that nice? Check it out, I'm playing Doom right now as fucking Pompey. Yeah, you killed that person, Slavic Venus. I honestly don't even know how to conclude all this. There's so much to appreciate, from its jarring visceral visuals to its creepy cryptic story. The entire time I couldn't predict what might have been around the corner. The game is constantly surprising you and leaving you scratching your head. As the game itself, it might not be the most mechanically exciting, but the world building alone makes it an unforgettable experience. Even through the depths of dark and hostile horrors, we are capable of pushing through it all. To embrace reality for what it is. We either die reaching for the torch, or live in total darkness. But by simply choosing to go for the light, may you be able to spread your wings and fly into the sky. To be able to finally see the stars. Here's a little PS, I'm ad-libbing all of this. So I haven't made a video in a long time. Believe it or not, I've actually been working on them in the past couple of years. But problems arise. It's either I get bored by the script or I accidentally deleted all my clips for that video. Isn't that amazing? Expect more videos to come, I promise you guys that. At least 3. I can't exactly hint at what it's gonna be.
There's ammo in the pantry. Get it. Do the job, please.